ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Today is the third day of our Purushottam Month series of sessions on Bhagavad-gītā, 15th chapter. Yesterday and day before yesterday, last 2 days, we discussed the first two shlokas of the 15th chapter of Gita. Today, we'll discuss the third shloka. In the last two shlokas, Krishna taught us about a upside down banyan tree. There is a Ashwatha Vriksha that has its roots upward and the branches downward. So Krishna spoke about such a upside down banyan tree. Basically, he compared the material world with that banyan tree. In the second shloka, he spoke how the tree grows. Guna pravriddhaha. The tree grows because of gunas, the three material modes, and of course our karma, fruitive activities. And Krishna also talked about the branches of the tree, and Krishna spoke about the secondary roots of the tree. We have seen that yesterday. Today we'll see the third shloka. Krishna speaks how to cut that tree. After knowing that this material world is like a tree, we need to be relieved from that material tree because this material tree entangles us. This material world, this material existence entangles us in so many miseries. So, to get rid of it, what should we do? So, Krishna speaks in today's shloka. Let's recite the shloka first. Third shloka. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा. So, in this shloka, Krishna is teaching us Narupamasyeha tatophalabhyate. Rupa means form of the tree. The real form of this tree, na asyeha tatho upalabhyate. It cannot be perceived in this world. This material world is compared to a tree. We cannot fully understand this tree. We cannot fully comprehend the way this material world functions. That's what Krishna meant when he said Narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate. Na anto na chadir na cha sampratishtha. Anta means end. Where does this tree end? We can't see. Na chadir, where does this tree begin? It's very difficult to perceive. Na cha sampratishtha, what is the foundation of this tree? Where is it based on? Common people don't know. Yes, Krishna described this tree in the last two shlokas, but now Krishna is speaking from a average conditioned soul's perspective. A normal person in this world cannot understand how did this material world begin? Where is it? What is the foundation of this material world? Where does it begin? Where does it end? Does it end at all? Why am I suffering in this world? So basically, to understand this material tree or material world is very difficult. That's the meaning of this first half of the shloka. Then Krishna says in the third line, Ashwatthamenam suvirudhamulam. So suvirudhamulam means the root of this tree is very strong. The material world has a strong foundation. Of course, Krishna is the foundation of everything, but the From another perspective, the foundation of this material world is the material desire of the conditioned soul. Where did this desire begin? How did I desire to enjoy separately from Krishna? Why? What is the reason for my material suffering in this world? So that people cannot understand. And it's actually the material desire that made people suffer in this material world, right? So Ashwatthaменam Savirudhamulam. So although Krishna is the root of all existence, material existence also, this material tree existed primarily to fulfill the material desires of the conditioned soul. And where did this material desires begin? What is the root of this desire? We cannot understand. So it's very difficult to trace out the root of this tree. So, but we can cut this tree. Instead of figuring out how this material existence came into existence, or instead of figuring out how did I end up in this material existence, we should get out of this material existence, right? How to get out? Krishna reveals in the last line. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Asanga means detachment. Sangha means attachment. Asanga means detachment. Shastra means a weapon. Please pick up the weapon of detachment. Please pick up the axe of detachment and cut this tree. And dridhena chitva. To cut the tree, you need to have dridha chitta, means determination. So Krishna talks about detachment and determination to cut this material tree. So, in short, the simple meaning of the shloka is that it is very difficult to understand this material world or this material tree, and the roots are very strong. You cannot always trace where this tree began, where does it end, why did I entangle in this tree. It's very difficult. Better cultivate the art of detachment from all material pleasures and cut this tree. And to cut the tree, you need detachment. So, detachment and devotion are required. Detachment, devotion, and determination are required to cut the tree of material existence and thus be relieved, freed from this material world. That's the meaning of the shloka. But in the beginning of the shloka, Krishna said that it's very difficult to understand this material world. This material world is complicated. Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nachasampratishta. So the complicated material world is very difficult to understand. Material world is full of problems, full of confusions. Where did it begin? How does it end? And when does it end? Why am I caught up in this so many problems here? Why people are fighting with each other? Why people are cheating each other? Why others are cheating me? Why sometimes I feel like cheating others? Right? Sometimes we also cheat others. Why things are constantly changing in this world? Can there be any consistency? Why am I becoming old? I don't want to become old, but still I'm becoming old. Why am I having some quarrel with this person? I don't want to quarrel, but I feel like quarreling. Or they are quarreling. Why is this existing? I don't have any financial problems. I don't want death. I don't want old age. I don't want disease. But why this material world is filled with complications? We don't know whom to trust. We don't know who is trustworthy. Some people externally, they seem very trustworthy, and you put trust on them, they cheat you later. Or you invest your love and emotions and feelings in somebody, but they don't reciprocate with them. There is no pure love. There is no pure air in this world. Many times you can't even have a breath of fresh air also. So lot of contamination, lot of jealousy, selfishness, laziness, anger, uh, desire for praise, exploiting other people. My God, Savirudha Moolam, this tree is deeply rooted. All these attachments become very strong through repeated habits. When you are pursuing your habits, unnecessary, unwanted habits, the tree becomes stronger and stronger. The roots become stronger and stronger. Yesterday we saw, right? Guna pravruddha vishaya pravalaha. When we are exploring our sense objects, very exciting. We are very curious to explore some more sense objects, and that will increase our entanglement. So, in short, the material world is very complicated, very difficult to understand how it functions. Where does it begin? When will it end? That's the first half of the shloka. And sometimes These attachments begin as innocent pursuits for pleasure. But those innocent pursuits are like tiny plants. If they are not good, we are supposed to remove them. We are supposed to uproot them. But if the tiny weed is not removed early, it can become a huge tree after some years, and removing it becomes very difficult. Similarly, our distractions in this material world may begin in a very tiny way, in a very small way. But after some time, we realize that we are entangled too much. We are too much entangled. It's like knot. Every time we have a desire, every time we have an interaction, material interaction with some materialistic people, then we are tying a knot, right? So the more and more knots are tied, it becomes very complicated, as you're seeing in this picture. And when someone is too entangled, cutting is the only option. You cannot untie them. You cannot untie them. You can only cut. And how to cut these knots? Asanga shastrena, by the shastra, by the weapon, or by the axe, or by the scissor, or by the sword of asanga. Asanga means detachment, right? So habits begin in a very innocent manner. They and habits or distractions or deviations begin in innocent manner like small plants. You may say it's okay, it's not harmful, but they will become bigger plants, bigger trees. They become deep rooted. Ashwathamenam savirudhamulam. They become deep rooted, and we are like caught up in a web. We are unable to come out of it. That's what material world is. But to come out of it, after having been entangled deeply in that, the only way is detachment. We need Asanga Shastra, the weapon of detachment. By the way, detachment is not hating people or hating this world. Detachment is not leaving our responsibilities. Detachment is not become cold hearted or stone hearted. Detachment does not mean you hate people, give up all relationships, and hate this world. No. Detachment means we should give up our selfish desires. Detachment means we should give up our possessiveness towards this material world. We should give up that false ego that I am the proprietor of this world. We should give up that false mentality that I am the doer, I am the proprietor, I am the master, I am the enjoyer of this world. Instead, understand that this world is created by Krishna, and I am supposed to use everything in this world or everything within my capacity in Krishna's service. So that's the real detachment. Detachment is not being freed from possessions. Detachment is to be freed from possessiveness. I belong to Krishna. Whatever I have in my property, that also belongs to Krishna. Let me use everything that I have, including myself and my body and my mind, my intelligence, in Krishna's service. That is real detachment. So Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva. So with that Asanga Shastra, with the weapon of detachment, with full determination, we should cut this tree. If our hands are dirty, we cannot hold a beautiful gift. Similarly, if our heart is filled with desires and selfishness and attachments, it's very difficult to experience Krishna's love. So, we have to take up the weapon of detachment and cut this material tree and be freed from all material entanglement. Sometimes we feel, oh, how can I cut my attachments? This wealth is giving me pleasure. These gadgets are giving me pleasure. These followers are giving me pleasure. And so many things in this world, objects in this world are giving me pleasure. But let me give a simple analogy at the end of our session. Look at this. This is sugarcane, right? When you bite, sweet juice comes out. Now, look at this picture. This looks like sugarcane, right? But it is not sugarcane, it is bamboo. So, bamboo and sugarcane may look similar, but if you bite a sugar cane, you will get sweet nectarian juice. But when you bite a bamboo, you will not get any juice. Probably you may even break your teeth also, right? Because bamboo is very hard sometimes. Huh? So, uh, material world is like that bamboo without any juice, and very harmful for the teeth. But sugar cane is like spiritual world, full of juice, full of rasa, full of relationships. So we need to cut this material world with the acts of detachment. You cannot destroy the material world. You destroy your connection or your bonding or your entanglement in the material world with the weapon of detachment and embrace the spiritual world. How to go to spiritual world? All that we will see in the next shlokas. So this shloka talks about this much. So this shloka talks that this material world is there very deep rooted. When did it begin? When did it end? When does it end? We don't know. So better we be freed from this material tree with the weapon of detachment, and let us have determination to cultivate the detachment. So we'll discuss the fourth shloka tomorrow. Thank you very much. Sri Bhagavad-gītā ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.